So we're going to do updates and reactions. This is your one-stop shop to get all the details for CinemaCon in one place without having to research a bunch of different X posts. Aaron's going to respond with either couldn't care less, take it or leave it, or super pumped. That we are going to get a live-action adaptation of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie about the last Ronin story arc, R-rated. They are officially doing Now You See Me 3 with the original cast.
You know what that makes me? Welcome to Backseat Directing,
where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
We're your hosts,
Andrew
and Aaron.
We put out new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And on this episode, we're going over the CinemaCon updates.
3, 2, 1,
action. All right, Andrew, CinemaCon happened not too long ago, and there was a lot of things that were announced, some pretty exciting news, and you looked into all of it. So you're going to give us all the details, and you're going to go through and see how excited I am for each of them.
Exactly. So we're going to do updates and reactions. This is your one-stop shop to get all the details for CinemaCon in one place without having to research a bunch of different X posts. I want to say a big thanks to Cinema Joe. He helped us out by giving me a lot of the research for this episode of the
not directly, but
yeah. But his post gave me some of the quick soundbite rapid fire hits for us.
He made it sound like he's given us research to talk about.
He's like, I did not co-sign on this podcast. These guys are the worst. But
totally fair, by the way.
I thought a quick thank you was due. So I have quite a bit of news here, so we'll just jump right into it. And Aaron's going to respond with either couldn't care less, take it or leave it, or super pumped, based on what tier of excitement he is for.
I'm super pumped to say super pumped.
So some of these you might have heard of, some of these Aaron might have already heard of. He might not be as surprised. Starting off, this is the first one.
I mean, I'm a well-researced podcast host.
Of course. You probably know all of it.
Watch me not know this first
one. The first one's a good example. So the first bit of news, I think one of the juiciest things to come out of Comic-Con 2024 is that we are going to get a live-action adaptation of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie about the last Ronin story arc, R-rated.
And that right there, that last part you said right there, with that one letter,
R-rated.
Super excited.
Yeah, that one is, so if you don't know, I will spoil a little bit for you of what happens in the comic book. The last Ronin is a story where the TMNT brothers are wiped out, all of them except for one brother who I will not spoil for you. But one of the brothers remains alive. He takes on the weapons of his fallen brothers and goes on like a bloody revenge mission. So it's a perfect story for R-rated, and it was like a really hit comic book series. It was a mini series, so I think it's like a trade paperback size story, and it sold really well. So now it's getting a R-rated adaptation, which is exactly how it should be told.
I've never really been big into TMNT stuff. I didn't really watch it that much growing up, and then I've seen like the live action ones, and they're like, they got some good moments, I guess, but not as strong as maybe they should have been.
They got Alan Richardson in there.
Yeah, right.
He's Raph, if you didn't know.
Yeah, that's funny. But I haven't even seen the new animated one that just came out. So this one is kind of like this one's kind of like a take it or leave it for me. But since it's the R-rated kind of revenge story, sign me up.
And seeing one turtle with like the size, the nunchucks, the staff, and the katanas, like. That's so with such a diverse fighting style for one of them to have all those weapons.
Yeah, very cool.
But on to the next piece of news.
Rapid fire, baby.
Let's do it. The next one, they're doing Naked Gun remakes, which was a famous comedy like spoof series that must have come out of like the 80s or so with what I think that guy Leslie Nielsen maybe.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I figured you probably never heard of Naked Gun. It's It was
take it or leave it, I guess.
It was popular.
Yeah, take it or leave it. It's right in the middle. I'm not sure.
You're not even gonna put couldn't care when you. I feel like.
I mean, I'm interested in new things, right?
But you have like a little whiteboard. This reminds me, I want to do a count of things that are remakes.
Just like a little tally. Just right on the back of there.
So far, we basically have 2 because TMNT.
What is that the back of, by the way?
It's a secret. The back of a script for a very secret project. So I'm gonna go ahead and say we have 2. I'm gonna count TMNT as a
like a remake.
Remake reboots are going on the same page.
Okay.
All right, so the next thing Aaron's going to react to, we got another remake or a reboot. They're going to do another scary movie.
Okay. Not excited for.
And that's not in general for the genre. That is the film Scary Movie, which is another like spoof comedy. It's mostly based on Scream. And the first one was hilarious. Very funny, like satire material for the horror genre. But I don't know if we need like a fifth or sixth one. I don't even know what installment they're on.
Horror films aren't my favorite. And then I also don't like stupid funny. So putting them together. Oof.
The first one's so funny, honestly.
Is it though?
Is it though? It's super funny. Have you seen?
I'll take your word for it. I haven't seen it.
Anyway, we have 3 now.
Okay.
Everything so far has been a remake or reboot. All right. The next piece of news here, this one I think you'd be a little bit more excited for. They are officially doing Now You See Me 3 with the original cast.
You know what that makes me?
What does it make you?
Super excited!
I don't think the second one was nearly as good as the first, but it still has its moments.
It's still pretty cool, yeah.
The trick scene is iconic. Super, super cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they mean by original cast. Like, I wonder if they're going to get Isla Fisher back, because she wasn't in the second one.
Really?
They replaced her with another like female team member.
Probably like Morgan Freeman.
We'll definitely have Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, and Dave Franco. I think we can assume.
And what about
Mark Ruffalo? Probably
Mark
also.
Ruffalo. Yeah.
We'll see. Like, because it's pretty loose to say original cast. It's not going to be everybody that starred exactly in the.
It's going to be the main people, I think, who've like were in both.
If they try to do it without Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson, I feel like no one would see it.
Right.
It would be.
Yeah, it's too drastic of a change for a third rendition of a movie that we didn't necessarily need.
They definitely missed the mark with the second one too, not naming it Now You Don't. Because then they would have Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which is such a cool sequel name. And then I don't know what they would have done for a third one. Now You See Me again.
Now You Don't. Here I am.
Okay. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Now You See Me 3. Okay.
Look at me now.
The audience can guess your reaction for the next one too, based on previous answers. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 has officially been announced to come out in the fall of 2025.
Yeah, couldn't care less.
Neither of us saw the first one, and like it's not like we're like fans of the like game. So
right.
I'd probably sit in the same vein as you. I mean,
is that another tally mark?
That is true.
Yeah. We can't be keeping a tally mark and not keeping an accurate count.
Everything we've said so far.
Did you put a tally for Now You See Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all 4 things we said.
All right.
The next one is it's another tally. Remakes, reboots, and sequels, guys. The next one is Saw 11 should also be coming out in the fall. It's September of 2025.
Yeah. I know this is like pretty popular franchise. I mean, the 11, that's ridiculous.
You don't make 11 for many.
But I couldn't care less.
I also agree with you. I had no interest in seeing the last one. Gore horror is not really my thing. I know there's a lot of people who like it. I think there's like a certain appeal to it, like in terms of like a clip, just of like shock factor. But like sitting through the whole Saw movie just is not for me. The first one
especially the 11th time.
Yeah.
The 11th movie of anything isn't that good, right?
Like you watch somebody like cut open their stomach or what have you.
Yeah. That's wild.
The thing about shock factor is like it gets diluted. Like we're all just so like with like the like horrible things.
Like what else can they do, kind of thing.
If you're a big Saw fan and you've seen the first 10, like seen some of them more than once, you're probably watching the 11th one just like,
yeah, they're behind the bench.
Oh, he sawed his own head off and like had to put it in his own stomach. They did that in number 6.
Yeah. How unoriginal.
The Saw fans would probably be like, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
You guys are stupid.
And I'm totally fine with that.
All right, next one. Transformers and G.I. Joe have officially announced their crossover. So I'm assuming because they're doing they're doing an animated Transformers movie called Transformers 1 with Chris Hemsworth and I think Brian Tyree Henry. I'm assuming this is going to be a live action crossover. I don't know super details about some of these, so
I'll be in the middle. What's the middle category's name?
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. I'll sit there for now.
It could be a cool trailer. Could be pretty cool.
Yeah, I
don't see why the Transformers would need the G.I. Joe's help.
Right. Yeah.
I could see the
Joe's
needing Transformers help.
Is it like in the same universe as the Transformers movies that are already out, or is it kind of like they're also starting over?
So I'll reiterate, I don't have a whole lot of details about some of these.
Okay. Yeah. Because that,
It's a good question. It's a good question.
yeah, I feel like I would prefer it to just be a new thing.
I saw it. The crazy thing to me is the Transformers 1 movie. I think Chris Hemsworth is voicing Optimus Prime, and I could never see somebody else voicing Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Like if you try to have some of these characters,
Autobots
the voices
roll out.
they fit way too well. That guy is perfectly voice cast. He does. He's the Optimus Prime. I mean, there's some characters you pass the torch on, like the Joker, but then like if they try to throw in like Aslan into something from Lion Witch and the Wardrobe that like wasn't Liam Neeson, like some things are just they fit and the torch doesn't get passed.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to see it as a whole new thing. I think it'd make more sense too. Okay. What's next?
This one's interesting.
Did you put a tally there?
No.
Man,
We'll
this
just-
tally thing was his idea.
We'll just go to the end and everything, and then I'll count up and
Okay.
the amount of stories.
What
It'll
if
be
we?
all of them.
What if we just tally the original content that's coming out?
It'd be easier.
Yeah, it'd be like one.
This
I'd
one
probably guess.
is an original.
Oh, hey, look at
At
that.
least based on the news I have so far. So, Kendrick Lamar, along with Trey Parker and Matt Stone, who those second two are the creators of South Park, are doing a musical together that is supposed to come out on the 4th of July next year, 2025.
About what? We don't know.
I don't know. But they've written a musical before because they wrote Book of Mormon. That
Who's the
was, like, a
artist?
Hugely Kendrick Lamar.
Take it or leave it.
He said, "Forget the big three.
Yeah.
It's just Big Me." And then he went and became part of a trio of creators. Trey Parker and Matt Stone were like, "Are you subtweeting me right now, Kendrick?" Like,
Got him. Yeah, I don't know where to sit with that.
yeah, no, I feel you. I need to see more on it too.
Yeah.
Like, musicals are definitely touch and go for me. This next one, for me, super hype, super pumped. Let's see.
Okay.
So, the Running Man, a classic movie that I think's from the 80s or 90s with Arnold Schwarzenegger, is getting remade, starring Glenn Powell with a director that I love, one of my favorites, Edgar Wright. So the director, if you don't know, he directed Shaun of the Dead, he directed Baby Driver, he directed Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I think the last movie that he did was Last Night in Soho. But he is so good with like this action style. So The Running Man, when they made it with Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's a movie about a game show where in the future, it takes place in the future. Originally when they wrote it was the year 2025, which is interesting. Maybe it comes out next year. It takes place in the future and you go on the game show and assassins try to hunt you down and you basically win money by surviving. So Glenn Powell will be the
That's a
running
cool
man,
concept.
the one trying to escape. Where do you land?
I need to see a trailer. I'll be in the middle.
You're
I'll
not-
be in the middle,
dude-
because I haven't seen the first one.
Yeah, but
and
you're not a big Glenn Powell fan, or
I do like Glenn Powell.
Not a big
He's
Edgar Wright
pretty
fan?
cool. He's pretty cool. I'm in the middle. Take it or leave it right now.
God, man, I
Yeah.
hate you.
Take it or leave it. Remakes
take.
are hit or
Bad
miss.
takes.
Come on, you know that.
Remake. We're back on the remake.
We just saw a remake of Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal. I like him even more. And like that was a fun movie, but like I'm not running through a wall for it, you know?
Yeah. All right. This next one's pretty generic. Damien Chazelle, known for directing La La Land, Whiplash. He is going to be directing his next movie, which is set to be taking place in a prison.
Oh, that's cool. That's all we got.
That's all we got.
I wish there was a category in between, like take it or leave it, and
That's why-
super
hey,
pumped.
This is the way the podcast
So-
works. You have to pick a.
I'm gonna say take it or leave it because I just don't have enough information to be super pumped. Super pumped, like
Don't be so middling.
I'm gonna lose sleep thinking about this, and I'm not there for this. But this does sound cool. He's a great director.
I would say probably this one leaning towards super pumped.
No,
Damien
Andrew,
Chazelle makes
that's you just told me that's not how this works. You have to pick a category. You can't be like I'm leaning toward.
Then I'll pick super pumped.
All right, there you go. You heard it here.
I could say leaning because I'm not in the hot seat.
Yeah, but you gotta at least follow the rules. You know
The next one,
your rules, by the way.
this one, I mean,
This guy.
the news isn't something you really need to react to for this one, but they announced that The Crow is being delayed. So it was supposed to come out in June and it's going to August 23rd.
Couldn't care less.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited to see The Crow. I really am thinking that Bill Skarsgård is looking like it's cool that he's getting into action. I'm really excited for Boy Kills World. And
That does look cool.
depending on how that turns out, I could be really excited for The Crow. I've never actually even seen the original with Brandon Lee.
Me neither.
Now, Another horror, so I can guess how you'll react. The Smile 2, not The Smile, Smile 2 they announced some details on the plot. It's going to follow a pop star. Do you know anything about Smile?
No.
So it's like a curse that travels from person to person, like when they that leaves people with like this creepy Joker like smile from ear to ear. They had a really cool marketing campaign when it came out.
Yeah,
A year ago.
I do remember
I think
that,
it's like a
actually.
2022 movie, but the sequel is going to be about this pop star who spreads the curse to her fans. So it's
Yeah.
like kind of going like national or global even with
What was the marketing campaign? I know if I was listening to this and they referenced that and didn't say what it was, I would have been upset.
So they had a bunch of people go out like with signs and like with big, huge, creepy smiles on their face, and they would go out to like a baseball game or a basketball game, and the camera would like focus in on them on the jumbotron, and
Yeah.
it was really cool.
It was. I remember
It was
that.
creepy.
Yeah. That is really good marketing.
Yeah, it's smart, clever.
Yeah.
All right, so the next piece of news, you may have heard this one. I think this one's been pretty popular. Margot Robbie is producing a movie based on The Sims, the video game, and also a movie based on Monopoly, the board game.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
he's heading into that like toy verse, I guess.
Yeah.
I knew they were talking about like Polly Pocket movies, and I don't know what's a rumor, what's a joke. You know, after Barbie came out, there was talk of like movies for different
Hot Wheels.
dolls
Yeah.
and toys, and these movies seem like they're the ones that are getting serious traction. The Sims, which is just a video game if you've never played it, where you just live life. It's more fun than it sounds. You like create a character, you get a job, you have relationships, you make choices, you talk to people, you cook yourself food,
So is
build
the
your
movie
house.
just going to be like just a normal movie?
It can't be. That's what I don't know. Conjectures.
Is
kind
it
of
like-
surrounding, like, is it going to be like Barbie, where somebody's like breaking out of the simulation? Is it going to be
Or someone's playing the simulation?
yeah? Is it like there's a lot of different routes.
Kind of like Free Guy in a way.
Yeah.
I'm take it or leave it. I mean, I love Margot Robbie, and Barbie was fantastic, so she can obviously produce and whatnot and get the right people involved on the project. But those Monopoly, I mean, Justin sounds like he'd probably be excited for it.
He loves
You
to
know?
play Monopoly Go a lot.
He does.
I've heard him talk about it. You're right. Yeah, the Monopoly one will probably be like comical. Like they'll probably both be comedies because they're family properties. It'd be like family movies. Monopoly will probably be like real estate, like not like a real estate, but like a tycoon, like a comedy. Maybe somebody trying to like come up in the world. You know, maybe they own like Baltic or
Falling
whatever.
asleep just listening to you about. Let's go on.
But I feel like from the outside, Barbie never really sounded like it would have been as good as it was either. A movie about, you know, what was, I don't know. I've never watched like the animated Barbie movies. I don't know what kind of tales they have.
I don't know. I feel like Barbie in itself seems more interesting. Like, because I can't picture what they're going to be telling about Sims, which is just about life, and Monopoly, which is kind of also about just working.
All of this will be easier to judge as it gets closer.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one.
So would those be originals then?
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
they're in a verse. We'll leave them as originals. We'll be fair.
What you got?
I don't know if I counted Smile 2. I think I gotta add some.
Yeah, you've been falling off here. Do you want me to tally?
No, I got it. You didn't catch me on Smile 2.
I thought you were done.
So the next one is Keanu Reeves,
Oh.
set to return to the John Wick universe,
Oh.
and he's going to be in Ballerina, starring again as John Wick, and be doing some fight scenes with Ana de Armas and Norman Reedus. Norman Reedus, you might recognize his name from The Walking Dead or Boondock Saints, which I really like him in.
Was this not already out?
They talked about maybe they talked about it more in detail at CinemaCon because there's a quote from it saying that
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of sword play. So
Okay.
that might have been the
So
additional
this is a
detail.
flashback then?
That's the question. Are they somehow reviving him? Because they didn't actually see him die.
Mm.
I mean, I kind of did, but we saw Headstone. So this is what I'm worried about for like them undoing John Wick Chapter 4 because basically like they tried to do a TV show, it was not a hit, and now the easiest route to reviving the John Wick world is to just bring John Wick back because they realize people don't want the John Wick verse without John Wick.
Which, hello, obviously, like that's why we're tuning in to John Wick is for John Wick.
Yeah, I mean the hotel and everything is very cool, and Winston is interesting, but like people don't show up for that.
Yeah.
like they don't show up for the hotel.
So tired of these unnecessary TV shows following not the main character. Like even Penguin.
tell.
Like, I mean, yeah, he was really cool in the Batman, but I'm not very excited to watch the show. You know, so for this one, I like Ana de Armas. I obviously like John Wick, Keanu Reeves.
At least this is going to be a
So,
movie and not a show.
Yeah, I'm gonna say take it or leave it, because I don't know. It's I don't know where they're going with it yet. You know, I need more information.
All right, so moving on to the next category. The next piece of news, a sequel to the TV show Heroes is in the works.
I heard about this. I've never actually seen the first one, the original show, but I've heard good things.
It kind of falls off, for me, at least. I quit watching it in like season 2.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say take it or leave it for this one.
You got a predominant take it or leave it.
I've had a few super excited and
2.
one I don't care, maybe 2.
All right, the next one.
When in doubt, be neutral, baby.
The next one is Michael Jackson biopic will include 30 songs. I don't know if one movie needs 30 songs.
Wow. Couldn't care less about the number of songs and about the movie itself.
Yeah, probably in the same boat as you. Like, I usually don't care that much about a biopic. Like,
They're not.
especially they make a lot of them about musicians' lives, and like, I feel like something really interesting should have to happen in the movie other than them just like getting famous.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
writing like, I don't want to watch a movie where they're like in a studio struggling and then they're like break through and they write a song and then like they play it in front of a crowd.
It's also like, I feel like I'd rather just watch a documentary and watch real performances of that person.
Well, it'd be more interesting because you get like, usually documentaries will have like friends and loved ones interviewed and you get like good behind the scenes details.
I love documentaries. I watch documentaries a lot.
I like a dramatized real life story. Like, I really like Vice and Spotlight, but I feel like something like in those movies, like something really high stakes is happening. You know,
I feel like it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, that's Michael Jackson. You know, like,
especially with someone like Michael Jackson, it's even harder because he was so famous.
right?
Like, they built him up so much larger than life.
Yeah.
And they're just not the kind of movie I go for. Like, I still haven't even seen the Freddie Mercury film, which I've heard Bohemian Rhapsody is.
It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a good job.
I think he won an Oscar.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Portraying Freddie Mercury.
He did a great job. I mean, I haven't seen it since, you know, and it would have probably been cooler to see the actual performances.
Rami Malek's a really talented actor.
He is. Yeah.
I haven't seen the Rocket Man one either. All right, the next one, and I'm excited for this. Interstellar is going to come back to theaters in fall of this year, which I predicted this, and it's going to be shown on IMAX and 70 millimeter.
Everyone's gonna hate me, but take it or leave it.
Wow. Mr. Take It or Leave It over here. I would have said super pumped because it doesn't take a genius to predict this. So I'm not trying to act like I fucking solved some puzzle, but it came out in 2014. So it's just a no-brainer that they were going to do a 10-year re-release and like show this movie in theaters. And I did not get to see it. I was woefully underprepared and ill-informed and just not smart enough at 15 when this came out. And I did not get to see this movie in IMAX, and now I'll get the chance to see this epic Nolan tale in IMAX.
Yeah, I like the movie for sure, but it's not like my favorite Nolan film, and I also don't like spending money.
This guy hates movies. Anyway, the next one I'm also gonna preamble it with. I'm super pumped. This next piece of news: they released some footage at CinemaCon for Gladiator 2. The footage shows Paul Mescal, who's the star of the film, fighting a rhinoceros.
Oh,
and also fighting Pedro Pascal, and both of them bloodied.
okay. I can be super pumped for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Because I think something that's really cool is in the first Gladiator, like they show lions, but like there was a considerable amount of like gladiators fighting animals in actual ancient Rome. So it'd be cool to see. And they brought animals from all over. They brought like lions from Africa. Like they brought like rhinos from Africa. So like they traveled great distances to bring them because these shows in Colosseum were such a big part of the culture in ancient Rome. So it'd be cool to see him fight beasts to be included in this movie. And also my follow-up question for you is, would you be more scared after having watched The Last of Us Part 1 or Last of Us season finale? Would you be more scared of fighting the rhino or more scared of fighting Pedro Pascal?
The rhino, for sure.
I don't know, man. He was looking pretty intense in the season finale when they were about to put Ellie on that surgical table. Joel Miller slash Pedro Pascal was going insane.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see that, especially like the cast is so stacked. Denzel Washington, Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, like the cast of that movie. I think I'm forgetting somebody too. Oh yeah,
Are you not upset that the main character isn't coming back? Like, I feel like you don't
back from the dead.
know, like, that they're making another movie without who the first movie was about.
He's dead.
I know. I get that. But, like, you know, it's kind of like we like the main characters a lot. So, like, hearing a story of another character that we're following, like, does that... Are you still as excited as you would have been?
Normally,
you know what I'm saying?
Normally, it would frustrate me if it was a movie I held closer to my heart, and I do really like Gladiator, but it's not been something that I've like rewatched a ton of times since I was a kid. It's not been something I've been like insanely in love with. Like, I mean, I'd still probably give Gladiator like 4 stars, but like, so since I'm not as emotionally attached to Gladiator, it's not as like upsetting. Like, if they tried to remake Die Hard, I'd be like, these goddamn cash grabbing assholes and never remake Die Hard. Like, do not make a Die Hard movie without Bruce Willis. Like, that's how I would feel about that. But here I'm just like, okay, like Ridley Scott is an iconic director. I think he's Sir Ridley Scott now also. He's changed the genre multiple times, you know. He's hit up making Alien, Gladiator, Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner, sorry. So I feel like since he's coming back to direct, there must be something to tell. And I just really like this cast as well. Like, Denzel's amazing. Pedro Pascal's amazing. Like, Paul Mescal's one of the new faces doing great things. So I have more faith in this than I usually would.
Okay.
I feel like the hype around it is building too. And I feel like sometimes I forget Gladiator 2 is on my box office team. So you trying to kill the buzz right now?
I don't know what you're talking about. What's a box office team?
Me and Aaron both drafted 5 movies at the beginning of this year to see who could pick the team that earns the most money. And I have Gladiator 2. I also have Dune Part 2.
I basically picked as worst of a team that I could. That way Andrew's still excited to continue to do this podcast with me. Because if he loses, he'd be really upset and he might like back out of it, you know, and then I'll be here talking by myself and that's no fun.
I didn't know that was your motivation. I thought you were just bad at picking.
No. It was all strategic.
The picks, like, if I had lost this year, I would have been okay because I have last year's one under my belt. If I lost 2 years in a row, I'd be devastated.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's move on.
So, Interstellar's a re-release, and Gladiator is a sequel. So that's 12.
Nice.
That's insane. Nothing's being released.
Is the Kendrick Lamar the only original with Monopoly and Sims? Those 3?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't count Michael Jackson's biopic, which, yeah, that and this, so that one too. But every single other thing, it's pretty crazy. I cannot believe that, like, the next 5 years, there will be like 2% of things made are not sequels, remakes, or reboots.
Okay. What's next?
That's it. That's the Gladiator thing. I think I teed it up. Maybe I didn't, but this is the last piece of news.
Yeah, I must have missed that. I probably wasn't listening to you.
Maybe if you listened and like followed my tutelage, you would pick better box office teams.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if that's worth it though.
Or your team's gonna like turn around and kick my team's ass after like all the.
I mean, that would be really cool, but I really don't think it's gonna happen. Yeah. I think you won.
I mean,
which doesn't make it very exciting, you know, because I'm not really campaigning for my team, you know, like.
Dude, you gotta believe. You gotta believe in Inside Out.
I believed last year.
Can you remember your team? Because if anybody's still listening to this point, they might be wondering what's on our team. I know I have the 3 Ds. I have Deadpool and Wolverine, Dune Part 2, and Despicable Me 4. And then I have Gladiator 2, and then I have the Lion King story, Mufasa movie, which doesn't come out till December. And then my alternate was Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which they did just release some news at CinemaCon about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. They released, they showed that Jim Carrey's going to be Eggman. He put on some weight and he's going to be the villain in the movie. Despite, again, announcing his retirement from acting, he's coming back for Sonic 3. Which is pretty interesting. And then I've also heard rumors.
I knew he'd come back.
They have announced that Shadow is going to be in the movie. They've already had Knuckles and Tails, but now they're going to have Shadow. Right. And I think there's been rumors that Keanu Reeves might voice Shadow.
Oh.
But hey, that's the rumor mill.
Interesting.
From what I understand, not confirmed.
I'm trying to pull up our team here. I didn't have it on my doc, but I have a graphic of it.
I had my team by memory. Aaron's just done everything in his power to remove his team from his memory.
What am I looking up?
I was just going to see what your team was. Well, yeah.
That was a joke.
He's a good actor.
Thank you.
I wonder if you should act in something coming up here shortly.
Ooh. I mean, if there's a good opportunity, I don't see why not.
I heard a good script came across our desk.
All right. Andrew has Despicable Me 4, Deadpool 3, Dune 2, Gladiator 2, Mufasa. And then I have Inside Out 2, Joker 2, Kung Fu Panda 4, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Furiosa.
So I don't think Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes will perform like you need it to.
Thank you.
I don't think it'll perform maybe as well as the previous movies, but I do think Joker 2 is actually going to perform better than I expected.
Really? Because you were trashing that when I picked it. You were hitting me hard.
For second, I don't know if it's like the best pick for second, but I like, especially because when you pick that, I think what was still on the board?
You picked Dune. You picked Dune after.
Yeah,
you
Dune,
already
Dune
had Despicable Me and Deadpool.
That's why I was surprised you didn't pick Dune Part 2. But I do think that it could do.
I was surprised that you kind of picked it based off of how little you liked the first one.
Yeah. But the second one's amazing. So good.
Well, I was also kind of going off of like Dune. The first one only made like 400.
Yeah.
And the Joker's first one made $1 billion. Yeah. So like, if each of those equals or only does half, like, you know, but I'm in good spot.
Dune Part 1 came out, I think, in 2021. Like, still COVID's going on, and people are just coming back to theaters. And Joker came out 2019 when Endgame came out, the height of superhero.
Yeah, we don't have to keep talking about this. You know?
I think Joker 2, based on a really good trailer, I think it will do well. Despicable. And I think Inside Out 2 will do really well. I'm curious to see what your other ones perform. Kung Fu Panda's already been out.
Yeah, that one was a little disappointing. I think it's less than 4.
I kind of wanted Dune to make more money, too, but Dune's, like, staying in theaters for forever.
Yeah. What is it, in the 6s? 600?
Yeah, it's like high 600s.
Yeah.
It's like above 6.
Well, hopefully it stops right there.
I just wanted to make it to 7, and then I think I would be like really happy with it. It's only raking in like 5 million or so a weekend.
Well, why don't you go see it a few more times?
Sierra wants to. She really wants to see it a third time. Really bad.
All right. What did you guys think about all the news that Andrew just dropped from CinemaCon? Let us know down in the comments below. What are you most excited for? And what are you the most not excited for? Also,
I feel like Aaron, what are you most take it or leave it for?
Yeah. Yeah, what's in the middle for you? Thanks so much for watching. We post new episodes every Monday and Thursday. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our stuff. Andrew, where are we at?
We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, X. You can find us pretty much anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. You can find us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Please make sure to give us a rate and review on Spotify and Apple. It helps out the show a ton. And the biggest thing you can do is introduce the show to friends and family because that helps us grow. You can have them all join the Discord with you. We can all talk and chat about movies, and you can give us episode topics that we can take on as well.
How much is the Discord?
It is absolutely free. And no paywall.
There we go. So join in on the conversation. We look forward to chatting with you. And that's a wrap.